Welcome to Shotcallers. I'm your host, Dennis Postma, and today we are here with Andy Audate. He's a published author, motivational speaker, serial entrepreneur, and he is very well recognized for helping entrepreneurs start and scale their business. Andy, I'm so excited to finally get you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Let's go, baby. I'm locked and loaded, but I'm happy to be here as well.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so awesome because watching you in this business, as you know, you learn to watch people. And you went from 0 to 60 in the amount of time that no one else that I've ever seen has. So we're glad to have you on the show. So, all right, let's jump right into it. So tell me what's been going on, and tell me about business growth and the people you talked to during this pandemic and during COVID.
I mean, what I've recognized, man, and with what's going on in the pandemic has been challenging for many people's health, and I'm acute to that. I'm not. It's not like I'm not aware. However, for business growth online, in the online space, this is a prime opportunity. And the main reason is that because more people are home spending time on the telephones more than ever, giving us entrepreneurs an opportunity to get direct access to the mindset and the attention of our potential consumers right on their phone.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is really, I tell all my clients to look at it. You can look at it the positive way or the negative way. Look at what you wanted to do. If you wanted to lose weight, if you wanted to get a certification, if you wanted to do any of those things, you can do it right now. And you can't blame time on anything because you have time to do it right now. So I tell people all the time, if you wanted to go out and be a life coach, if you wanted to do any of this, you wanted to write a book, what excuse do you have right now?
Yeah, man, this is the prime opportunity to get those things done, but also this is a prime opportunity for you to grow and scale a business utilizing the support of a virtual team. I think that a lot of companies, like I just read yesterday, that Pinterest spent $89.5 million to break their lease on one of their offices in San Francisco because they're transitioning from being in an office space to being remote. So I really, truly believe that's the direction that we're going to be going in the next 15 years.
Well, talk to our viewers a little bit about that, Andy. What advice can you give to entrepreneurs as far as like building a remote team and doing it properly? Because I struggle with that too. I mean, you know, so.
Yeah, I think that it comes down to systems. Okay. It comes down to systems. So in my organization, it started with just Andy. And then we grew to 5 people and 10 people and then 15 people and 20 people and 30 people and 40 people. And it's because each person has a role in a growing system. Okay. And I mean, the pandemic, you know, doubled the size of my business as far as people, because of the systems that we built. So what I think the biggest thing and if you want to go to scale your business and you want to grow from being a solopreneur or having, 5, 10 people in the office, and you're looking to grow it virtually, sure, the biggest thing is going to be putting a process for every single procedure in place and documenting it using a task management software and documenting every task. So when I need to do a cold call, I have the clear instructions there from the CEO himself or herself. Same thing from, hey, how do I do a Instagram video? And then the task management software, what it's going to allow many entrepreneurs to do is going to allow it to put other people in that position, because all you got to do is change one name to another person's name, and that new person is going to have literally the same instructions that the first person had, allowing you to grow and scale your business as people come and go, leave your company, or they go to different roles in your company.
Okay. Well, and how has that worked as far as, and we're going to get into the progression conference and everything with that. I definitely don't want to leave our viewers without that, but how has that changed as far as, have you had to change a lot to virtual, or what's going on with as far as a progression conference and whatnot?
So prior to the pandemic, I was operating out of an office. I had a executive assistant, and I had 3 sales guys on the phones.
Okay.
And shifting post the pandemic, I went from a handful of team members to operating with 2 virtual assistants based out of the United States. So they're not working in the United States.
Sure.
And then I learned that what my in-person executive assistant based in the United States, who just cost me a little bit more than virtual, the person that was doing it virtual was doing the same work or even better than the person that was in person. And it cost me less because they are based out of the United States.
Sure.
Then because of the cost difference, it allowed me to grow and scale the business much faster. But how it's been working with the pandemic, I mean, I think more people are in a situation where they're at home and they're looking for work. So the entrepreneurs that are able to shift are going to find top talent in this day and age virtually, rather than being trying to get people who are willing and able to come to an office.
So what advice, as far as that brings up a great topic. So what advice do you give to entrepreneurs? Because like in my situation, I have 300,000 things I feel like I'm juggling from day to day. And I like having somebody that I can run to their office and whatnot. How does that work into delegating, and how does that work for you? And what advice do you have, I guess, to entrepreneurs to try to get from that? Because I'm so used to, like myself, I'm so used to having this person on hand that I can go and be like, hey, I need this loaded to Instagram, or I need this. And how does that work for you as far as with appointments, sales calls? I mean, how do you get the delegation part down?
I mean, I think the same way that you would do it in person. The only thing is we're doing it on Zoom. So Zoom happens to be our best friend. Doing video calls happen to be our best friend.
Sure.
And the culture that I've built in my organizations, we're running 3 companies, and the culture overall, you would never think that we're separated by borders, right? So the relationship that I have with my executive assistant, Fatima, that she's been working with me since last year. We work every single day together. We're on Zoom calls, and I'm into her life. She's into my life, and we have this strong relationship. And the same thing with my senior sales and marketing manager, Lexi. When I know her kids know who I am. Like, we have this strong relationship, even though they're based out of the Philippines or Latin America or even Europe. That the relationship is strong. So number one, we built a culture that was that we really feel like brothers and sisters. Like yesterday, I had someone who came to me who was wanting to leave the company, but he said, you know what, man, like, I really feel like this is a family. So he wanted to leave the company because of like the negative influencers around him. Because look, this is new. The internet is new to working. And so if you're sitting at home on your computer for 8-9 hours working, some people are going to be like, that's weird. I remember one of my team members, they thought that they were doing like sex work online because they were working online for so many hours. Right. And it's like, what's going on in the computer, and how are you making money online? This doesn't make sense to a older generation. So I think that this is a shift in how we're going to be doing business over the course of the next 15, 20, 25 years.
Yeah, that's so funny you say that too, because I think of like the first time I hired a marketing manager for like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And, I have people here who have worked with me for however many years, and they go by and they're like, yeah, they're always on their phone or whatever. That's literally 110% what I'm paying them to do. So I hope to God they're on their phone, because that's what they're supposed to do. So, yeah. So I think it's a mind shift for a lot of the people who are older school. And me, I mean, I'm pretty older school too. I try to pretend that I'm not, but I've done it a certain way for so many years. And now I'm just trying to slowly transition into the way that things are operated now. You've put together so many great pieces for entrepreneurs and how to scale their business. First of all, I guess, let me start with, how did you do that, and how did you articulate? So if we want to teach other entrepreneurs to get what's in your head onto paper or digitally, how would you suggest they do it?
Mentorship, Lam. Mentorship is the key. Like, if I wanted to go in the insurance business and I wanted to scale an insurance business, I'm calling Dennis, right? Yeah. Like I'm gonna, hey, Dennis, and I would use the 5 currencies. So, and a lot of people don't know about these currencies. Money number one is the most common currency, but people, what I learned is that people don't want money. They want what money can get them. Like, I didn't want $100, the $100 bill. I wanted the food so I can feed myself and my girl, right? I wanted the food. I didn't want the $100 bill, so I paid for groceries. Throw away the 100, give me the food. I didn't want the $30,000. I wanted the car to be able to transport myself and see my friends, see my family, do business, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So money is the most common currency. However, people don't want money. So what do they want? Number two currency, they want knowledge. So I know that Dennis wants knowledge. So I can offer Dennis knowledge in social media. If I know social media, I can offer Dennis knowledge, and he'll exchange knowledge for knowledge. So if I'm going to give him knowledge on social media, he may give me the knowledge that I need to run my insurance business, right? Number three, relationships. Dennis may say, hey, I'll teach you the game, but like, I ain't going to do it for free. And I'll say, hey, I'll give you money. And Dennis is like, man, you can't give me money. I make enough money. I'm good. Then, okay, who do I know that Dennis wants to meet? So it could be, if I said, hey, I have a relationship with Barack Obama. Got a relationship with Barack Obama. Dennis, if I put you in contact with Barack Obama, you guys work together, you do his policy, whatever it takes, would you mentor me? Dennis may say, yeah, sure. That's a good deal. So number three is relationships. Number four, when I worked at Wendy's, they didn't pay me for my time. They paid me because of my energy to flip the burger. So my energy, I can go ahead and work for Dennis. Hey, Dennis, let me do sales for you. Let me get on the calls. Let me pound the pavement for you, get you in sales, and I'll expend my energy, but you give me something back, which what I want is knowledge. And the last one is going to be number five is barter. A system of trading a product for a product, or a service for a service, or a service for a product. So using these five currencies, get a mentor, get in front of someone that you know, like, and trust, and essentially spend money, spend time, spend energy, spend relationships, spend barter, spend something, get in front of that person, spend something in exchange for the knowledge that they have, that they can elevate you.
I could not agree more, actually. And that brings me to a topic that I didn't even plan on talking about, but every person who I see who goes from zero to success in such a short period of time has a mentor and has somebody who, talk to me a little bit about how you not only find a mentor, but how much that impacts what you've done. And I know what, like, my mentor has done in my business. He told me when I was 20 years old, he's like, here's what I make. If you shut up and listen, this is what you'll make. And I was like, oh, well, okay. That's exactly what I want to do. So I was naive enough to just be like, okay, you know, there's straight line path. So tell me about that and how it worked for you. And because I think so many people skip that step, and I see where the progression naturally happens for those who go from from starting to success in such a short period.
So if you listen to this podcast, you're watching this episode, write this down. Persistence always wins, right? Persistence always wins. Even the wind, if it goes long enough, it'll break down the biggest tower. If it pounds on the wall long enough, it'll break down the biggest tower, right? Persistence always wins. So I would find someone in the direction that I want to take my life, right? So if I want to look like Dennis, if I want to live the lifestyle that Dennis has, I want to have the type of relationships that Dennis has, I want to run a team like Dennis does, then look, there's information that I don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. So I would go to Dennis and I would say, Dennis, man, like, I would like to work for you. I would like to learn from you. And then Dennis is probably going to say, you're busy. Dennis running businesses, he's busy.
Right.
But if you continually go to Dennis time and time again and again, asking for the opportunity, at some point it's going to be easier for Dennis to just walk away and say, you know what, I'll do it, man, because it's easier for me to mentor you and work with you and teach you than you constantly coming to my door, you constantly sending me mail. And also, when you're going back, offer more value than it did the last time. So if I go and I just ask Dennis for a handout, essentially, and he's like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that, bring him a coffee. And then next time he says, I don't drink coffee. Okay, great. What do you drink? I'm not going to tell you, walk away. Bring him a bottle of wine. Okay, so like every next level, give him more value, all the way to the point that you're bringing him customers, you're bringing him clients. Keep going, and then eventually Dennis is gonna, or the mentor is eventually gonna switch and say, you know what, man, I'll make it happen because it seems like you really want this. And what I truly see is that mentors really truly want to give. Like, it's an innate thing for a mentor to give.
Sure.
But they don't want to give to people who are not gonna value what they're giving. So when you go to first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, that's going to be natural that they're going to be reluctant. They're going to say no because the trade-off wasn't worth it, right? Just asking one time wasn't worth it. But when I see you consistently for 6 months, constantly asking, best believe that they're going to see the value. Your mentor's going to see the value, and they're going to trade off their knowledge for your energy or whatever it is that you're willing to give in exchange for the knowledge that they're going to give you.
I love that in so many ways. That's, first of all, you're 100% right, because they don't want to waste their time. They want to see that somebody's actually going to take the knowledge and they're going to run with it. But also, I mean, you hear all the stories about your Jack Canfields and those who drove people at the airport and did whatever just to make sure that they could get in the car or get a little one-on-one time with their mentors. So I think that's a great way of putting it.
Right on, right on.
So tell me a little bit of, with cultivating mindset and how that will lead you into progression. Tell me about that. And then we'll start opening up this progression conference and everything you're doing, all the amazing things, but let's start with that.
I mean, like, progression conference is like one stream of what we really offer. Progression conference is a one-day business event for people who are looking to start and scale their business. And I started that because I came from an industry, which was a cell phone industry, telecommunication sales. And I personally, in my organization, have sold well over 2,000 devices. And that's where I made my first $1 million. And I think it was unfortunate because I stopped there. I stopped at that point because where I come from an impoverished area on the East Coast, and where I was around drug dealers and gangbangers and gang activity. And for a Black kid who was 19 years old, the number 1 million was like this big idea. And then once I made it, I realized that that's $1,000 1,000 times. And you can easily make 1,000 mistakes if you are big-headed, right? So I was big-headed, and I made more than 1,000 mistakes. So when I came from this industry, but I generated income. I made money that changed my life, my team members' life, my family's life, my mom's life, my dad's life, my little brother's life. I changed the circumstance that we were in. But when I got out of the East Coast, I left the East Coast and I moved to the West Coast, because the first thing you do if you live on the East, if you live in the Northeast in like a challenging environment, the first thing you do is you make a little bit of bread, you move to California. I've seen it time and time again, right? You just, what's in California? I don't know, but I got the money to go. So I go live in a luxurious. What was that?
I'm headed there. Yep.
Let's lock it low, man. I can't wait for you to get to the West Coast, man. And I have this little bit of bread, and so I'm living, in luxurious apartments, the whole 9 yards. I got maids who clean I'm literally living this lifestyle. I never would have thought that cars and the whole 9 yards, but I was never flashy. I'm still not flashy. But what I learned was that the peace that I had, not everyone had that peace.
Sure.
And I think the key was the idea of going from one place or one mindset or one circumstance or one environment and getting to another. The solution wasn't for me to take a big stride between from point A to point B. The solution for me to get to the position I wanted was to just progress on a daily basis. Just get better every day. And eventually you'll turn around and you'll see the progression that you created. So one of the things that we do on my team is that we have a thing where we call acknowledge your progression. So we ask team members, hey, since you started here, how have you progressed? Right. Oh, I made X amount of dollars, or I bought this thing, or I bought that thing. So acknowledge your progression. So I acknowledged my progression, and I realized it was a progression on a daily basis. And I realized that I had some certain knowledge and a certain relationship. Like Hey, I can call Dennis and say, hey, Dennis, would you like to speak? Share with us how you grew your enterprise. Hey, I can call Les Brown, or I can call, so-and-so. Like get in the space.
Right.
And I recognize that God has been leading my path. It wasn't even me. It was a God thing. So I'm hosting the progression event, and then Tony Robbins walks into the place. And I'm going to Tony, and I'm like, dude, I'm 23. When you started, you were 22.
Yeah.
This is so surreal. This is like, thank you for, and it wasn't even the fact that Tony Robbins was there. I feel like it was a God message saying, hey, in the future, I want you to recognize.
Yeah.
Just by shaking his hand, giving him the hug that I gave him, gave me the mindset that, hey, we're transferring something. Right. There's something that's being transferred. And so I host this event where I teach people how to start and scale their business, so that way they can experience that freedom, so that way they can take care of their family, the people that depend on their success.
That's all. That's terrific. And I can't even imagine what it felt like when Tony Robbins walked into your event. I can't, he's transformed so many lives. It's just, he's the old school mentor that, you always want to have. So tell me about this path that you've had, or advice even to fast success.
I think, I think for me personally, I wish I had a little bit more challenge in the beginning.
Okay.
I think I experienced success way too fast, way too young. And my head was so ballooned up, man. I was so big headed. I just thought I was better than everyone.
Sure.
And then God showed me that, how do I say it? Like what it really took, that kind of deal. So
enlightenment.
yeah, that's exactly shit, man. But I went downhill, man. I made money, and then I closed everything down because I thought the $1 million was a jackpot. And then, I just never looked at the bank account. I just never looked at my account, So now I look at my account daily, but back then I just didn't look at my account. I thought it was unlimited money because I made the $1 million. And then fast forward, after a year, I wasted it. I threw it all away. I'm living in this crazy apartments in downtown Los Angeles, which was triple the mortgages for some people. Right. And I just threw it all away. Then I looked in the account, and it was like almost at zero. Yeah. So I had to rebuild myself within 6 months. So, but the great thing that I found, man, is that there's a system, and it goes around mentorship. So the first thing that I did when I saw that I was nearing zero was that I went and I found myself a mentor in California. So I left the East Coast. My mentor was showing me the business of the cell phone. I knew the formula. So I went and I found myself a mentor, and I said, show me the game. So I went out and I sold copiers. That's the first thing I did. I did it for like 30 days. Okay. But I went out and I sold copiers, and I just, I got him sales. I was literally in the first month, I broke records. In the first month, never seen before in that organization. But I went and I dissected as much data as possible. This was 4.5 years ago, and still to this day, it's not like I just went and did sales for a month and left. Like, I still have a great relationship. The CEO called me 2 days ago, and we're still talking about, hey, what's next to come in the new economy? So the first thing I did was I got a mentor, showed me the game. 30 days in, I went out and I bounced back financially, right? So I got back in the 5-figure range. Yeah. And then I took that money, went and started a new enterprise.
I love that you say that, because the formula is so important for all our viewers who are watching. The formula is, you knew what it was to go from zero to success as far as in cell phone sales or whatever, changing it to copiers and doing whatever. That really, you have the formula. You knew you were a success over here. If you took that skill set and moved over to the other side and did something else, you knew it was going to work.
Yeah, I think if you come in with confidence, and you were just bold, you just bold, and look, success is inevitable if you know the formula. If you know the formula, Dennis, I put you in Africa, man. Give you a year and a half, man. It's not gonna be this. You're not gonna be the same position, right? You put me in Canada with $0. I'm gonna come around. Next thing you know, you're gonna see me on Forbes, right? So there's a formula.
I couldn't agree more. I love that you said that. My mentor used to say, give me my briefcase, drop me off wherever the hell you want to in the United States. We'll do this. And they actually took me, like, I'm from Ohio, Northwest Ohio. They took me to Mississippi. They're like, hey, we got an office with 45 people down here. They've never sold XYZ products. Here you go. And we went out and we sold the first one, and they were like, oh my gosh. But it's so, you're right though. You take the formula and you run with it, and it's amazing what happens. So tell me, so sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, tell me about, so I'm all about self-help and constant improvement. Tell me about programs and constant improvement for you, because I'm sure there's a lot for people who don't have a mentor or don't have those 5 people that they hang out with that are great. Talk to me about programs and constant improvement, because now with being an internet age, we have all those at our fingertips. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So programs, like I'm always investing in myself. So 4.5, 5 years ago, I get an opportunity, dude, you know, I made a decision to become a speaker because I realized that that was the gift that I had, which was performance. So I became a speaker. And right after I decided to become a speaker, like literally within a moment's notice. And this is why I share, you got to make a decision. You can't willow and dibble and dabble.
Right.
So literally I'm laying on my bed. I had this idea of me speaking, and I'm 21 at the time. Like, that's the thing about having success at a young age. Like, all these numbers that I'm sharing, the age is like all young numbers, you know, compared to my counterparts. So I'm 21. I say, I want to become a speaker. Like, I want to give. But I remember having this doubt, which was, hey, dude, you're 21. People are going to, you know, judge you and say stuff about you, the fact that you're young. So, but I didn't care, you know, because of the confidence that I have. So I decided to become a speaker. I go on Facebook, how to become a motivational speaker. Facebook ads start, you know, populating on my Facebook about, you know, this is how to become a speaker. It's crazy. Then I get a call. I type in my information on a Les Brown website, the motivational speaker. And I get a call from someone, and he's like, hey, would you like to join Les Brown's program? It's 9 online courses, and then you get calls once a week. It's $5,000. I told the guy, like, $5,000 is a lot of money for just videos. Like, I go on YouTube and watch videos. But what I learned is that the relationship is key. So there's going to be a group or community that all paid $5,000. I mean, it's a no-brainer to be in this community.
Forget the 9 videos. You would pay $5,000 for the community.
I never watched the video.
Yeah.
I never watched the video.
Yeah.
So I paid the $5,000. Next thing you know, I'm in this community and I rise to the top. I think that the reason I rise to the top in any area is because I show up. Yep. And what I mean by show up is, number 1, I show up physically. But number 2, I show up powerfully, which means I am seen and I am heard. Right. So if I'm in a room of, I was like 150 people, I'm like, what's up, Les? You know, like I'm seen and I am heard, and my presence dominates. And I made a decision. So then I'm in this group, but I'm not really a speaker. I just went through a course. However, I decided that I was a speaker. So one day I'm just saying, I'm moving forward. I'm a motivational speaker. I go to a bar. My friend invites me to a bar in downtown LA. I mean, in Hollywood. I go to the bar. I get to the bar, and a woman turns to me, and she's like, hey, so what do you do? This morning, I decided to be a motivational speaker. So I looked at her right in the eye, and I said, I'm a motivational speaker. And she says, oh my gosh, that's great, because I'm a teacher and I have students. I need them to be motivated. Can I get your number? She wanted my number. Can I get your number? And I'll call you to speak. My first speaking engagement, which were just some kids. And I saw that formula that took place. I did that in the adult world, in the business world. Everything changed.
Wow. That's awesome. That's terrific. That's we gotta call it quits for today, but I definitely want to have you back on the show, Andy. How can people get a hold of you?
Hey, I think the best opportunity right now is taking advantage of this system, the brand marketing system. Look, I held a tour in I was supposed to hold a tour in 2020, right before the COVID. So 2019, I'm working with different speakers, many of them who are in the starting up phase of their speaking business. And I gave them an opportunity to speak on the Progression Tour. And part of them speaking on the Progression Tour, many of them were just starting out in their speaking business. So because when speakers get on my stage, I make half of what the sales that they make. Okay. So if they make $10,000 on my stage, I take 5, they take 5.
Sure.
So I wanted to make sure that they had the proper systems before they got on my stage. So I was doing a national tour in 2020. We're going to Atlanta, New York, San Diego, Vegas, like Texas, all over the country. And all the speakers, I gave them an opportunity to come to LA and do a 2-day intensive training where I'm teaching them the same systems that I used, including the support of virtual assistants. Now, I taught them the brand marketing system, what I personally used to grow my brand and my business in the last 700 days, which in the last 700 days, I've been able to accumulate about 600,000 leads or contacts, all from online, and turn those leads and contacts into paying clients who are on a subscription program or on a high ticket program or working with me as a partner. And what I've learned is that the people who went through the system in February in that 2-day event, post COVID-19, when I got on a call with them, let them know like, hey, the tour is on a halt because of COVID-19.
Sure.
Well, how is business using the system? And what they shared with me is, Andy, I went from $2,000 a month in my speaking business to now generating $12,500 to $20,000 a month in my speaking business, not even including my other businesses. And I try to find out like, okay, my business grew. What helped your business grow? And it was the common denominator that I shared at this 2-day event, the Brand Marketing Summit. So after the learning this from these speakers that were speaking on my national stage, their business was literally booming in front of them. Many of them leaving their businesses. Like you're talking about lawyers that are like, I'm not gonna do law anymore. I'm making more money as a coach and a speaker. Leaving their businesses, what I decided to do was host this training over the course of 2 days called the Brand Marketing Summit, the virtual Brand Marketing Summit. So next month, I'm gonna be hosting this training, and I invite your audience to come in. And the way to be a part of this training is to go to joinbms.com. So if you're listening, if you're watching, go to join, JOIN, BMS.com to learn the brand marketing system that revolutionized my life. Because what I learned, Dennis, is that if you get 100 people to know you, a percentage is gonna do business with you. So out of 100, let's say 10% purchases my product. So that's 10 people. If I grow that number from 100 to 1,000, 100 people will buy. If I grow that 1,000 to 10,000, 1,000 people will buy. If I grow that 100,000 people that know me through my marketing, then 10,000 people will purchase my product. So if I scale the amount of people that know me, I'll get more people to buy my product. And the way that we scale the business is utilizing the support of virtual assistants who can run my business completely autonomously without me needing to be there. And I teach every single person that at the Brand Marketing Summit. So if you're interested, go to joinbms.com.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andy. That's awesome, because I think so many people could use that. Definitely check it out. Anything else you want to add before we go?
The opportunity is in the show, brother. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Dennis.
Oh, thank you, Andy, and we appreciate it. Thank you for joining Shotcallers. Take care.
Right on.